go. Please hold. And
did they hit the record button?
oh my God. Welcome to the 21st century, kids. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Common Thread, episode 10. It's been about a month and a half since our last episode of the Common Thread, but so much has happened. Let me catch you guys up to speed. First and foremost, here at the Common Thread, we are branching out, we're growing, we are trying new things. We are going to launch our podcast out into the world of iTunes, Pandora, hopefully Spotify, and we're also still on YouTube. So really exciting stuff. Super pumped about that. The reason for our gap for not podcasting, well, we've done some pretty significant life changes. And with that being said, episode 10 is about, well, moving. And it sucks a lot. And there's a lot that comes with moving. So to give you kind of a backstory, about 2 or 3 months ago, I've been in this area now for a little over 8 months, had a conversation with my co-host, Quinton Blake, about the process or probability of moving in together or getting him into this area. And I think without further ado, I'm going to switch it over. I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to let you kind of take the reins on the process that got you to here. Because as much as I want to say it's a story of me moving, I think it's a bigger process for you and the process of kind of making this happen together. So why don't we let Quinton take the reins on the rest? Go ahead.
Cool. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I was living at home for a couple of years. I finally was getting up to my 2-year marker at my current job, and decided I've been saving up enough money. It's time to spread my wings and fly and, for lack of better words, get the fuck out of Springfield. But I essentially wanted to originally move to Boston because that's where my boyfriend is. But for everyone who isn't aware, Boston's one of the most expensive cities to live in. I really didn't want to take my entire savings and have it just be blown within months. So I decided that Devin needed to find a new place to live. And I figured I'm going to basically cut my time, my commute down to Boston in half. There's tons of job opportunities here in Portsmouth area, Kittery area, and just kind of wanted to take the next steps into life and go back to trying to be responsible on my own, and having to cook my own dinners and pay rent and finally be a fucking adult. So yeah.
And so from there, kids began the process of talking about it, which all started with looking for apartments, which that was sort of the first process. Me and Quinton had looked at a few different places in the area, and we decided to look at more like home style apartments, single family homes. For more space, we'd have the outdoor option. And to be honest with you, for what we were paying at, a basic apartment complex, we'd have more space essentially. And so we finally came to a pretty quick option. We didn't look at only a few places before we found the place that we are in now, in Maine, which was
I looked at
exciting.
one here. That's it.
I looked at probably 3 or 4, and this one definitely sold me. And then once I let Quinn know, it was like, all right, we're going to move forward with it. Everything happened pretty quickly. Moving during quarantine, during this whole COVID pandemic, interesting.
Some perks.
Some perks,
some negatives. I would say I think the perks outweighed the negative, although the negatives did kind of suck. So things like paying for a U-Haul was super cheap. So we basically took like what was supposed to be a $300 U-Haul to like $150. No traffic on the roads, didn't have to deal with that.
So with that comes all the elements which Quinton just touched upon of moving is a lot. So first came the process of getting a U-Haul situated, and then came changing all of the utilities for this place into our name, which is a pain in the butt. And then you have to talk about moving internet, getting power in the place, making sure it has water, all in kind of one swift weekend. So there was a lot of prep work going into it. Also informing the fact that you have to let work know that you've changed your address. Switching over accounts is a pain in the ass. I don't think that's ever good. But lo and behold, finally, the day of moving, we did this all in a matter of probably 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks minimum. I think so Devin had to move regardless. I finally decided to go with it probably like maybe May like 20th, or March 20th, 21st, 22nd. And then within less than 2 weeks, we were moving.
It happened fast and furious. So, cut to, I mean, we did a lot of prep work to get this all situated. It happened quick, like a lot of phone calls throughout the day, getting things like switched over. So, day of move-in. So, I drove back to Vermont to help everybody move in with the U-Haul and everything like that. We loaded the U-Haul. We got everything packed. We left first thing Saturday morning. And to be honest with you, to move again with few hands on deck, it was pretty much just me and Quinton with the assistance of smaller objects from my mom, his dad, and his boyfriend Jackson. So all in all, it was a long day of lifting.
It was not a rest day.
It was definitely not a rest day. We moved all the couches, the furniture, all that stuff. Me and Quinton did. With questionably some bumps along the way. But then came the process, as many of us may or may not know, the struggles with switching over internet. So I have Xfinity Comcast. Now, I don't want to bash too hard, but the day to the move-in, I thought all they said was, you're just going to have to move your equipment, set it up, and you'll be good to go.
Meanwhile, I work at an internet company, so I know what you have to do, and it's not a tough process. Let's just throw that out.
Throw that out. Yes, that's good. And so a couple days prior to our move-in, I reached out to Comcast just to confirm that we were all set for Saturday switch. When I called them on Thursday, they had already made the switch. When I called them, they thought I was calling to switch the account already to the new address. And I'm working remotely, mind you, so I still needed my internet at my current place on Friday as well, and Thursday. And so that took 3 hours to get fixed. And then so Saturday comes along, and I actually need it. And they just said, all you need to do is call us, and we'll make the switch over. Call to make the switch over, and the internet doesn't work. Now I'm mad, because at this point, I've probably spent 6 hours on the phone just trying to get this situated with Comcast and Xfinity, just to make sure this all worked. And so the person on the phone was just saying, oh, we can send a tech support out first thing in the morning, da-da-da-da-da. And Quinton's like, no, it's not that hard. Ask for a supervisor. And I was like, okay, I'll ask for a supervisor. Got a supervisor, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I chewed him the fuck out. I don't know why. I just got on this.
Poor Phil.
I probably should have not, but I did. I just absolutely grilled into him.
It gets better at the end of the story.
So I just got mad that they couldn't send a technician that day because it was earlier in the day, and they said that they couldn't send anybody out till the next day. And I was kind of upset because it's like, you guys have known about this. Like, I've told you, I called you in advance. We scheduled, the move, and there's not anybody who can help us out. And this guy, his supervisor named Phil, which, by the way, never mind.
The homie Phil.
The homie Phil. I grilled into this guy. Poor guy. Anyway, so at first he was like, yeah, the earliest we can do is 8 o'clock, and there's nothing else I can do for you. It looks like, there's something that's not connecting right to the internet. And I was like, what do you mean? I got pissed off. I was just not having it. Moving's stressful, first of all. Like, if you're not pissed off that you're moving and you're, like, lugging all the furniture from a new place to another place in one day with little help, lack of sleep, no fucking coffee, and you think you're in a good mood, fuck that. You're in a terrible mood. Send it. It's gone. Ship has sailed. It's over. So, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have been a dick to Phil, but at some points he just kept poking, and so then he was like, oh, now the earliest we can do is noon, and then that just pissed me off more. I was like, what do you mean? You just said we could do it at 8. He's like, well, you never confirmed. I was like, are you serious? So now you're telling me it's noon. Why isn't it? You should be here now. I should be your first priority. This is exactly, Quinton can attest to this. This is exactly what I said.
Meanwhile, my dad's chilling in the chair, watching videos, drinking a beer, just watching Devin go at this guy.
And so he's like, I'm sorry, sir, that's the earliest I can do. And I was like, well, why am I not first priority? I am a paying customer. This is absolute bullshit. This isn't fair. I told you in advance, like, this isn't right. And then he's like, okay, well, the earliest now we can do is 4 o'clock. And I was like, are you serious? I blew up. I said, are you kidding me? You are telling me right now the earliest you can do is 4 to 6, and to start the conversation, it was 8 to 10, and now you've pushed it back? I was probably spitting everywhere. I'm actually getting mad even thinking about it now. But he kept pushing it back and back, and I was like, absolutely not. We work from home. This is bullshit. You can't be doing this. I'm a paying customer. Treat me like a fucking celebrity. I'm your first priority. Blah, 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 blah. I was grilling into this guy.
And then he's like, so now we don't have times open until Monday.
Well, but he didn't, thank God. I would have fucking freaked out. So I would have lost my shit, even the thought of that. So then he was like, oh, just kidding. Now 8 o'clock is open again. And I was like, put me in the books. Like, at this point, I was fueled. I almost wonder, and I still think this, I think he was just pulling my fucking leg just to see how far he could push me to go over the top. And I honestly, I'm sure in training purposes, I'm now part of the Xfinity Comcast customer support training video because I was so livid. At one point, I said to him, and I quote, you better have that person bring breakfast tomorrow. Does it come with breakfast? Because you better bring it. And he was like, then I basically tested him because then he was still being a dick. He was like, I was asking him if he could just confirm for sure that it would be at 8 o'clock. And he was like, I can't really confirm it. I don't know why you can't confirm it over the phone. He couldn't confirm it. He's like, I can't confirm, but I can definitely reassure you he's coming. I'm like, what? What the actual fuck? And so then he was giving me this spiel about, I was like, dude, so let me tell you, this is how this is going to go out, Phil. If nobody's here, I'm like, you better bet your job. You quit your job tomorrow. If nobody shows up, I want you to quit your job. If nobody shows up between 8 and 10, you're quitting your job. Put that on the line. I'll believe you. And he did. He said he would quit his job if nobody showed up tomorrow. He told me that in good faith. I trust him, Phil. And so the conversation kind of ended just like that with everything on the line. I said, either way, tomorrow, Phil, I'm calling you. With or without, whatever happens, I'm calling you. If they show up, I'm calling you and I'm going to apologize. So next day, everybody probably wants to know what the hell happened. The next day, 8 o'clock, Sunday morning. I don't actually know if it was 8 o'clock. It was probably like 9.
No, it was like right.
It was pretty early in the morning. And the guy showed up. Came in, fixed our Wi-Fi, did it all. Was a really nice guy, actually, super nice. I don't know if he had all the breakdown on the conversation the day before. I don't know if they saved the recordings. I think Phil definitely did. I think I have to be like the worst person in the world.
But come to find out, in our crawl space, the actual coax cable was disconnected. So it had nothing to do with anybody at Comcast. If we just crawled into the crawl space and connected it ourselves, given we didn't know to do that, because why would we know to do that? But yeah, it's just really funny that it ended up being on our end.
So I guess this is also an apology to Phil, because I never called Phil the next day to either apologize or anything. I just have to say that poor Phil and all of his team that dealt with me on a customer support level. I also said I worked in customer service. I did.
Your team still sucks, but
yeah. So that was Comcast Xfinity story of the move-in. Wow. freaking wow. And then to go with that portion, as I was saying about like the part of the move-in, it is beyond stressful days prior to think about the move. I don't know, like 3 or 4 days prior to this move.
Oh, that conversation with Phil was only that bad because of
Lack
the
of
fact
sleep,
that stress of moving and the fact that we were the only people
moving.
Well, I mean, not that we had anybody else, but we were the only people moving stuff. So just
it was a lot.
To be like, you also might not be able to work Monday. It was like, I'm gonna kill you, Phil.
Phil, I need to work. I need money. Needless to say, like the anxiety, the stress, like again, 3 or 4 days prior to the move-in, no sleep. Like every night was probably minimal sleep at best. Because you're just like, I need to remember this. I need to remember to switch that. Did I put this in my name? Did I get in touch with the new landlord to do this and let them know? And let the old landlord say, kumbaya, peace out. And
while
like,
Devin's doing like bills, staying up super late. Meanwhile, I'm just like doodling on the iPad. Like, oh, this is where I'm going to put my bed. And this is how I'm going to like set up the place. And so.
Yeah, so it's stressful. And then the next portion, which is the other part of moving, is just getting settled into a new place. So like days and weeks after, just getting adjusted, like living with somebody, like your best friend, like Quinton, like it takes time to like get settled in. Like we didn't have like everything set up. We didn't have things on the wall. We didn't have it decorated. We didn't have like all the dishes situated. We just kind of like, it took time to just get everything acclimated, things where you wanted them to be. So like if we weren't working, because we're still working from home, like full time, 8 to 5. Like it's a grind, kids. And then you have to like get yourself situated in the mix of that.
It's pretty lucky that Devin can work from his cell phone, or else we would just be in each other's phone calls the entire fucking day.
And so lastly, I think just like, it's been cool to live with your best friend. I think there's times where you don't want to do the normal routine that you would do if you were alone. Like, it's just like now at the end of the night, like we're watching TV or like playing video games together or like socializing. Like we're very domesticated in the fact that like the end of the day, because we're always on our phones and on the computer for work, like at the end of the day, like we'll cook dinner every other day. That's right. We take turns. We both cook. It happens and it's good. We have yet to this point, side note, we have yet to fuck up a meal. Yes, that's right. Proud.
Am I cooking leftovers tonight? Yes.
We have gone weeks. We've gone fucking weeks. But so it's nice. So, but like with this podcasting though, it's like, it's hard to like get back out and do those things.
Find time to do it.
Because you get sidetracked with so many other things that you need to do in a house too. Like there's laundry or the clean up, because the house is it's a big thing. It's a big thing. And also at the end of the day, what do you really want to do at the end of the workday? I don't know. Maybe it's quarantine talking, but there's so much more like I don't want to do now when I was in a normal lifestyle. But you tell me, is that sort of the gist?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a pretty inherently lazy person, like, anyways. If it were my choice every day after work, I would just, like, totally post up in my bed and watch Netflix and be a hermit. But, I mean, I think living with Devin has definitely made me more active and less like a hermit. In the sense that, like, I was able to set up my bedroom. Like before, when living at home, I pretty much lived in my bedroom, so I had like everything in there. But now it's like it's only a place that I go to sleep, so it's like I can actually be around the house and hang out in the kitchen and have conversations and hang out in the living room and not have to be like wondering like, oh god, my parents gonna hate that I'm watching fucking Dave on TV or something. So that piece has been nice.
I think overall now too, so then you get settled, you get acquainted, you get, adjusted to your new surroundings. And then the next portion is life's kind of going back to normal in a sense. Like, so yes, we're working full time. I'm also working, as many of you know from previous videos, on trying to be a DJ. So I've been trying to get that in the mix, which is cool to see and come back to. And then the last piece, I think that people, I think it's interesting, but when we first discussed moving together, and when we told people that as best friends, we've known each other for God, oh my God.
Everyone was
years.
like, are you ready for it? Like, do you really think you can do that? Are you going to have another blowout like you did with Heidi? Are you really ready to lose your friend in a year? And I feel like, honestly, given it's been like a month in, but it really hasn't been that bad. Like, all things considered, especially with having to quarantine. And I think, if anything, it'll just end up getting better. Like, once we get back into our routines and everything.
Side note, for those of you who don't know who Heidi is, that's a story for another day. We'll touch on that maybe future episodes, because that Quinton,
episode 200.
Quinton, that's like referencing something that only a handful of people would really understand. But the point being, there are some key pieces, I think, on making it work. And honestly, just the open and honest policy, kids, is the best way of doing it. And then there's like a give and take or pull and give. Like, you just gotta, like, I don't know, like, keep the lanes open. We're very, I don't know, we're social, but we're not. I don't know. Like, there are times where we don't have to say anything at all and it's fine, and we can just relax and just listen to music or play games or whatever. There's never any like conflicting issues. Like, there's a common understanding of our roles together in the house. And I think we also understand that, like, when life goes back to normal too, like, we won't get this time, I don't think, as much time again. So it's kind of nice to take that in, because once life goes back to normal, things are going to get crazy. Things are going to be like jam-packed. So
I will say that every other dinner night thing is definitely like something that I think that we're going to be able to actually do, like, moving forward once everything gets back to normal. So it's nice to have that, like, kind of constant, like, next to work. I don't know.
I think honestly, like, there's a lot of exciting pieces to it, just to have like your best friend around to, like, just talk about whatever. Like, before this move, Quinton is somebody I probably talked to the most.
It was like 8:01 on Monday, being like, Devin, I can't do it today. I'm done. I'm done.
I fucking hate work. Work sucks. This sucks. Everything stinks. This is the worst. But all in all, I think that to this point, moving with your best friend, it definitely has a lot of perks. I think people make it what they want to make it. I think that it also depends on the people and the person and where you're at in your life. I mean, me and Quinton are like adults now. I think it's like, we're not in high school. There's no high school drama. There's no bullshit floating around. I mean, the only people I talk to outside of talking with Quinton is like a few other friends. But again, there's no drama to it. There's no he said, she said bullshit. I don't know. It's just not, I mean, we're adults. Like, we talk about work. And then outside of that, it's mostly like sports related or video games, most recently Pokemon, to be quite honest with you guys. Not that anybody needs to know any of that. We play Pokemon religiously. But I think I just am shocked that people go right to the negative before giving a positive shout of anything. So it's interesting that, like, so many people, and I don't think one person, now that I think back on it, was like, that's awesome, like, good for you two, like, this is so exciting for you two to do that.
No one.
Not anyone said that. I think everybody, for the most part, was like, get ready, it's going to be like getting married, and you're going to get, like, so mad at each other. And
I mean, like, I think if you look back like a year and a half or like 2 years ago, like, I don't think it would have been as positive as it is like right now. I mean, especially with like me, myself, like having personal growth and like all that cliche bullshit. But like, I think just like how Devin was saying about being an adult now, it does make things a lot easier. And there is no bullshit. It's just kind of like, you say how you feel. And I mean, like, we're still getting in little arguments throughout the day, like about Pokemon or something, but like, that's not,
it's normal.
like, it's really easy to like differentiate between what is actually an argument and like what's just like our general being friends and having like an argument. If that, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, I mean, all of it is natural. I don't take it as like there's never a point where in which anything is offensive. Like again, like people, I don't know, like people fight about stupid things, and I don't think I wouldn't even consider them fights. Maybe you'd call them disagreements on things, but again, it's not like to the point where it's like a screaming match or like a fight. Like I'm not gonna go to bed sour about it. Like every night, and Quinton can attest to this. Every night, I tell Quinton I love him before he goes to bed. I just say I love him. I'm like, I love you. And he's like, oh, yeah. And that's literally every night. Like we're fucking domesticated as fuck. And we're bros. I mean, it's part of being like family in a way. Like Quinton's always been kind of a bro to me. We've had our disagreements, we've had our disputes in like who doesn't in life. I guess that kind of just comes with the territory. I think you'd be full of shit if you didn't say at one point or another you wanted to fucking rip your best friend in fucking half. You'd be full of shit. But it helps you grow.
I think it's better that way too, because like there's not this like you don't have like, at least living with Devin, there's not this like sense of like having to tiptoe around or like not being able to be yourself or like kind of trying to make that new relationship that is just like being a roommate and not actually like being somebody's friend. I mean, I don't know about you, but like I've had roommates in the past who are my friends now. But I just think like at this point in my life with like trying to excel in a career, try to have a relationship, like trying to get back in shape, like I don't think I would honestly want to do that. Like that's just like I would just be like an asshole of a roommate because I just wouldn't care to like start that relationship with somebody. And I think having that pre-existing relationship is like it's just such a weight off of the shoulders. Like I don't have to think about that. It's like one less thing off of the list that's like, screw it, like that's sick. Like now I can just go home and know that my best friend's gonna make me dinner tomorrow. Like yeah.
There's definitely, I think in hindsight, again, from all of this, it's like, you know, we're now approaching almost a month together. Again, like little tiffs here and there. But again, if you looked at the pros and the cons of living with your best friends, I think there's more pros than cons. There's somebody that I trust. I know. Like I don't have to worry about him stealing anything from me. I know Quinton, like I know where to give, I know where to pull back and say, you know what, like I need
know where he's from.
I need to give him space or what, like you just know, that person, right? And it's just, it also leads to what I think we're all trying to say is it's comfortable. Like you don't feel uncomfortable, like not knowing who that person is. I don't have to act like somebody I'm not. And again, we kind of understand each other. So again, it's all super helpful. And, to reference a current situation that's happening in like the real world for those who listen to podcasts frequently, like the call her daddy thing, right? Like two best friends that were living together talked about vigorous and aggressive sexual content, but recently split up because of certain things. And they kind of got into it from the podcasting world. Like I think they kind of came into like being friends later in life. I've known Quinton since I was probably 11, 12. And like, we've made it this far and we've butted heads and we've even, he says physically fought, but I don't remember that. But we were younger. We were younger. That is true. I was probably 14. You were probably 13, 12, something like that, 15. Anyways, like we have grown immensely in our relationship together. It's been years of the ups and the downs, but I think at this point in our life, again, at this stage, we're both mature, we're both looking for career growth, we're both looking to grow in life. And I think that's most important. I think people kind of forget, like, we're adults now. This is what we do. You know, like, this is something that's good. And now, like, as far as podcasting goes, we're going to bring out hopefully more material for you guys. We're super excited about it. We've got some really fun stuff in the forefront. This is the first one to just kind of just get back out there, say, what's up, world? Welcome, all new followers and people who will listen to us. If anybody who is just recently joining on episode 10, there are 9 more episodes that you can watch on YouTube, and this will also be on there as well. So listen, watch. We're super excited to bring forth kind of a new chapter, a new start to the Common Thread, and we're super excited to bring you good content from here on out. And if you guys have any good suggestions for topics for us, we're open ears, but we've got some juicy content, I will tell you, coming your way. So without further ado, this wraps up episode 10. Thank you guys for joining in, and we will see you guys very soon. So thank you much, and see you guys on the flip side.
Bye.